Hey, what's up? It's your design systems nerd, Mark Reynolds here, and today we're going to have a quick chat about enterprise documentation and the content. So, where does the content actually sit? Where is the source of truth for the content for documentation? What's the problem with it sat all over the place or in multiple places? We're going to dive right in. So designers will be operating highly likely, and apologies if you're not yet, but highly likely be operating inside Figma. Then you will have engineers obviously operating inside their code base and their platforms that they're developing. They also operate with something or operate using something like Storybook or Zero Height for code snippets. And then you have everybody in between, including user researchers, product managers, product owners, brand people within the organization, those that are associated to the marketing department, and it kind of like spreads across the whole product organization from top to bottom. And they're operating in different spaces, and we need to find a way to figure out how we can maybe write content specifically for each user type, but not duplicate content. Because some things that be written will definitely be still right for different user types that are digesting the design system content and the documentation. So, for example, what we might do is put together a whole structure and a schema inside something like a headless CMS. Basically, a headless CMS is content management system sat at this level, this higher level, of which you can write the content, publish, create the content, publish content, and digest it and integrate it into the tools where your designers are, where your engineers are, your product managers, and so forth. So, for example, you might use something like Contentful. And you might use Contentful to create the documentation, the actual content for the design system itself. And you'll develop your own schemas around your own design system within your organization. As we know, they're all very different in many ways. Obviously, there are many similarities too, but that's for another episode. So what you might do is integrate some of the specific content for designers into Figma. And there is a tool, there is a plugin that's created for that in the community. So if you just search Contentful and Figma, then you'll find the plugin. So you can get the content from Contentful, the headless CMS, into Figma. And you want to use the same content with some tweaks, maybe a few additions, maybe taking a few things away, and integrate that into something like Storybook or Zero Height. And straight away, you've got an experience specifically for designers, and you've got experience specifically for engineers. But it's from one source of truth, which is the headless CMS, and you're not duplicating content. There's no inconsistencies to the content, and it's written in a language and a shape, let's say, that's relevant for each audience. And again, if you're, say, maybe you're on a Microsoft stack in the enterprise and you might have a SharePoint for the design system as well, or some form of documentation around design, the design function, the UX function of the organization. And this content might need to sit in there too, internally for, like I said, marketing departments, brand departments, even technical and product departments, and they might want to quickly access the content. Again, Contentful, it holds the content, and then you can integrate that content into, say, something like SharePoint, for example, or maybe it's Confluence if you're on Atlassian products and Jira and using that ecosystem too. So that's just a very quick idea around maybe having a source of truth, not duplicating content for documentation, and creating inconsistencies that are unnecessary. Okay, so that's it for today. That's it from me. And let's continue the chat. Let's chat on LinkedIn and Slack, and I will see you there.